Hey, good morning. Um, today's video is an idea of my friend Patricia that we wrote this book together. Um, and when I asked her, what kind of videos would you like to see? What would you be interested in listening to, in watching? And she said, why don't you talk about staying at home, being a stay-at-home mom? And she said, yeah, but I know this might be a bit controversial, because different people choose different things. Um, and I thought about it and I thought that, yeah, I can imagine it can be triggering for people, especially those who really wanted to stay at home with their kids but couldn't because of their financial circumstances. However, I think it shouldn't be controversial because it is not about what you should do. It is not about me trying to impose my own lifestyle onto you, or trying to make you feel bad for choosing to live in a different way or not having the option to make the choices I did. It is a video that I want to make because there are many people who are now um, getting their babies, they have a newborn in their arms, or they're thinking about having children, but they're also worrying about their career and their development. And I thought it would be useful to talk about how you make that choice and then about all the pros and cons of that choice so that people can maybe think of issues that they haven't thought of before and make a more informed decision. So, if you currently have kids and if you are at the point in your life that you have already made that choice, please do not feel judged. Please don't think that my choice is better than yours. It is more about people who are now starting this journey, who are now considering what they should do once they decide to have kids. To see just a perspective of one person, because I'm just one person and this is about my life and my personal experience. And it is, of course, informed by the discussions I had with my girlfriends who are working or staying at home, because I have friends in both categories, let's say. I would like to start by reading you actually part of the introduction of the book that talks a bit about how we ended up, me and Patricia, staying at home with the kids. And then I want to go on and talk about the positive and negative aspects of that decision and of that lifestyle. Let's get started. By the way, the book is available on Amazon, also in Kindle form, if you're not the hard cover type. And the paperback is much thicker because this is my first copy with very small letters. Um, the one you will get if you decide to get one will have much bigger letters. So let's see. Okay, let's take a step back here so I can give you a bit of background information. Both me and Patri have university degrees. We did bachelor's and master's and learned foreign languages and the like. And yet, we somehow ended up at home with a bunch of kids changing diapers. How did that happen? You might wonder. Well, it could have happened because of the whole financial crisis, of course. But for us both, it was a conscious choice. I was raised with my mother being at home, even though she also had studied. And I knew this is what I want to offer to my own children. Patri, on the other hand, was raised by a working mother, and her experience informed her choice as well. As I'm sure you know, the social pressure for women to be both great mothers and hard-working professionals is immense. And it is not just about money making. It is also this whole idea of taking advantage of your full potential. As my parents and parents in law have pointed out on numerous occasions in my first years of motherhood, but later, when she's older, you should also be doing something about you. Or later, you can also get a job and contribute financially or be financially independent. I understand where their advice comes from. And after some psychotherapy, I understand even better. It is not about me and my choices. It is about accepting or rejecting their own choices through the choices I will make. It is also about their investment in me to some extent. Subconsciously, when people do things in a different way than we do, we get insecure and defensive. If we are not mature enough or secure enough in our choices, another person's different choice might seem like they reject us. When people try to make you follow their path, 9 times out of 10 it is, subconsciously, because of their own issues, not necessarily because they have your best interest in mind. On a larger scale, in the level of society, going against the norm can even seem threatening. What if more women chose to pull away from the workforce to be with their kids? I can imagine quite a few sectors that would feel threatened by that, from corporations to daycare facilities or hospitals, for example. I know that if you're a working mom, chances are that as you read this, you feel I'm judging your choice to work. I'm not. I want you to be free to choose what is best for you, without feeling forced. And I know I also speak on Patrick's behalf when I say that what matters for us is that mothers have a freedom of choice. My heart aches for you if you wanted to stay with your baby but had to go back to work because of financial reasons. My heart aches for you if you wanted to build a career but societal pressure led you to have children just to have the full package. My heart aches for myself for choices of the past that were based on the fear of rejection by my parents, by my peers, by society. But as much as my heart aches, it is also full of courage and hope, because I know that we have the power in us to delve deeply and look for what is best for ourselves and our children. And if this is totally different from the norm, we can find the courage to go for it and show our children with action what courage is all about. Doing what you need to be done to be authentic, even if you're scared to death. Because the fulfillment will be so great it can't be put into words. Me and Patria are still working on this every day, with our highs and lows. We would like you to join us. So, this is the introduction of the book, and it gives you an idea of what we chose. And I can elaborate a bit also on the why we chose what we chose. So, for me, a bit about my background, real quickly. I always liked drawing as a child. I really liked being creative. So my parents figured back then, why don't you study architecture? Then you can draw, but you're also an engineer, so you have a real job, you know. And that's what I did. I was good at it. I found it really nice and fulfilling, a very nice study. However, it was very confusing for me because I thought because I was good at it, it was also what I wanted. While it was not, I never wanted to build with concrete and build huge constructions. I wanted to draw little houses and make little models and just build cute things. Um, so yeah, that reality hit pretty hard. And unfortunately, it took me even more time to realize that because I also really love knowledge and research and information and philosophy and these kind of things, which led me to also do a master in architecture and then do research on architecture as well. And years were going by. Thankfully, when we decided with Nikos that we wanted to start our own family and have kids, it was for me a bit of a wake up call, along with the financial crisis that was striking Europe quite hard back then. And architecture, being a luxury sector, was also hit quite hard, which meant that after I finished my studies, I did lots of applications, and it was not that easy to find a job at an office. And the people of my generation who were working in offices were working 10 hours a day for a star architect, not being able to do their own designs. And I knew that this was not my passion, this was not a fight I wanted to give. Um, so for me, it was pretty clear that I was in a way free to follow my passion, which has always been being creative with writing and with illustrating. And living in the Netherlands has actually allowed me to make the career switch and start working as a freelance writer, which was awesome. And it also gave me the flexibility to be at home with our then future kids. So this is a bit of my story, and I'd like to go ahead and talk to you about the positive and the negative aspects of that choice and of how my life has looked like the last 9.5 years, almost 10 years, including my pregnancy, my first pregnancy, that I chose to be a stay-at-home mother. I don't know how I should go about it. Should I start? Maybe I should start by the negatives and close with a positive. Like I'm very organized. I have notes. Uh, okay, I will start with the negative aspects of it. Um, First of all, when you're at home and you have a newborn, and then maybe you have a second newborn, there is not enough time or energy to build a solid career basis before the kids are full time to school. This means that you have to, if you have a personal passion that you want to chase and make it your career, you only have tiny bits of time in between naps, or in the evening when kids are finally in bed. So before kids are full time in school, it's very, very hard to find the time to invest in building a solid business. So you do little bits and pieces here and there, um, but I think it's very, very difficult to really build a solid salary as a freelancer, for example, make enough money to sustain yourself were you to be a single parent, for example. Um, the thing is, if you are a single parent, in most European countries, you do get help from the government. So financially, you could still survive and pay the rent and feed your kids, and then try and do your thing, and start slowly building your own vision. But it is very exhausting. The fact that you don't have time. Maybe you have all the ideas and the passion, and you know the steps that you can take, but the time is just not there. The energy is not there. This is something I found very, very draining and very, very frustrating as well. To the point that when we decided to have a third child, which we really wanted, I chose to also close my online business back then. I was making felt toys, and I told Nikos, look, if we are going for a third kid, I fully stop with working for a period of time until she's old enough and I have energy again to do my own thing, which is actually happening now. The second one is if you're a stay at home mom, and you were raised by by boomers, basically, you have the guilt of not doing enough at home. So you're at home all day. How come your home is a mess? Um, that is a guilt I don't suffer too much from, but that's mostly because I live far away from my own family, mother and mother-in-law. Um, and because my choice is to actually play with the kids and allow the kids to play in the house, and our living room is constantly a mess, because the kids play in it, and I let them build forts, and I let them take out quite a few toys at the time because they like to build these elaborate constructions. But there are points that I really think neither us nor the kids deserve to live in this chaos, and then I will do some panic cleaning or panic decluttering. So there is no consistency in how tidy our house is, at all. I wish that were different, because I do have the guilt of, I am a stay-at-home mom. I should have a clean house that if someone rings the doorbell at any time, I wouldn't be ashamed to let them in. I will still let people in no matter the state of my house, because I believe it's more important that the kids see our house is open than that our house is tidy. But that is something I am struggling with, both the guilt and the chaos. Um, then there is also the fear of being judged and seen as lazy or not ambitious enough or easily overwhelmed, especially because of this whole idea that women should be able to do everything. I do blame the first waves of feminism for that. I said the first waves because there is quite a difference with the new waves of feminism, that are more about the freedom of choice. But it is this whole idea of, why can't you do both? You could also work part time and also be at home with your kids. I personally couldn't do that, because I want to do things well, and I'm quite passionate. And when I go into a project, I go fully into it. And I have to confess that now that I am starting a bit again to do more videos or to do my, guiding sessions or making my books, this does mean actually that I am less present with the kids. So maybe the kids are playing in the living room and I will hide in the kitchen to upload a video, which is something I don't like that I do, that I don't have the patience to wait until they go to bed. But I'm also gentle with myself, because I really want to do this. That's my thing. And I think I deserve it. I deserve half an hour for myself, especially if the kids are fed and happily playing. So it's okay if I'm not within their, vision field the whole time. I hope. Um, then the thing is that you are not actually ever taking a break from mothering. What I've observed, and my friends who are also at home have observed, is that kids are so used to turning to mama for everything that even when papa or the other caregiver or the working mama is present, they will still turn to the default parent um, to ask for whatever, for help for whatever, to clip their nails, to bring them a snack, to, maybe like my husband will be standing next to me and the kids will be like, can you ask dad if he can like do this for us? I'm like, he's literally there. You can just ask him. And I do that. Like I will say, he's there, you can talk to him, and it's no one's fault in the sense that my husband is very present with the kids in the weekends, in the evenings. He will bring them to bed. He will do nice things with them. But I'm just with them 80% of the time. They're just used to me catering to their needs. And the thing is that because I had all that practice, I also know what they want. I will get complaints that Papa made their lunchbox and there was the wrong thing inside. Poor guy. How should he know that one likes their bread, folded that way, and the other wants it folded the other way and cutting? I mean, you need training for that stuff. It's complicated. You can't get it right by doing it a few times a year. um, and I'm also not allowing much room for that, to be honest, because I know if I do these things they will be done quicker and then it's easier for everyone. So I'm also to blame for that. But yeah, it is what it is. It's that kids will just come to me on default and not go to my husband if I'm there, if I'm at home. Um, then there is also the fact that sometimes you just want a break, you want to go away, you want to, go on a holiday on your own and or with your husband, and there is this feeling that, yeah, maybe this holiday is not deserved. Also the fact that, especially if you're not making money or if you're not making a proper salary, it is also that guilt. Like I overcame it last year and I went on a trip on my own. I'm planning to do it again this year actually, and we've talked about it with Nikos that it does us really good if we take some time for ourselves. But until now, I felt that, yeah, but it's also money, which I don't make, even though I actually do, because by staying with the kids at home, we don't have to pay for daycare at all. And that is a huge cost for many, many families. And also all the extra things, that I do around the house, cooking, cleaning, this kind of stuff, that many families with where both parents are working, they have to pay extra help in order to have these things done. And I know it on a conceptual level, but still, because of the way we were raised, guilt is still a bit there, which I think is very unfair, and I'm trying to work on that. And Nikos is quite helpful as well. But I'm just sharing with you, my honest thoughts and feelings now, not how things should be in my head. And then what I hear a lot from people, but I'm not there yet, so that's not my personal experience, but it is that the empty nest grief and the empty nest pain is bigger for mamas or for parents who have actually stayed with their kids throughout their childhood and elementary school years. And so, yeah, if you do stay with your kids for their whole period of school, like even if they're in high school or the higher grades, and you don't have something for yourself, then you do feel the whole empty nest thing more intensely, apparently. Like I said, I don't have the personal experience, but it does make sense to me. Uh, and the thing is that if you do eventually decide to go back to your career, to the things you studied, for example, you suddenly realize that things have moved forward a lot, are moving much, much quicker also because of artificial intelligence and how quickly technology progresses. So if I wanted, for example, to go back to architecture at some point, I would have to invest a lot of time in learning how to use specific visualization programs and even AI and all sorts of technological stuff that I'm not into. I could do it. Of course, I could say that I'm investing a couple of years in re-educating myself and coming up to date with what is needed now in an architecture office. But the thing is that somehow the career has outgrown you or passed by you, and you have also outgrown the career in a sense, because when you do stay at home, you develop a set of very different life skills that maybe make your first choice seem irrelevant, career choice seem irrelevant. And you can always retrain yourself. But like I said, it takes time, it takes energy, it takes money to get a certification. So let's go to the positive aspects, because there must be a reason that I've actually chosen to do that, and they kept choosing to do that after every kid was born and reached the age where they could go to kindergarten. Um, First and foremost, uh, we raise our kids with our own values without having any noise from uh, daycare people or grandparents or family. Whatever mistakes we make, they are ours. That is a big responsibility, but it is also really nice to know that your kids are raised by you. So if you see that something is going wrong, you can adapt and see if things get better. While if you also have lots of external helpers, then you have to make sure that everyone is on the same page about the way you are raising your child. This is not even possible in big daycare facilities, where kids go here in the Netherlands from 3 months old, they can go to a daycare facility, and then you have like 10, 20, 30 babies, and the carers, all they can do, because also the personnel shortage, is just clean them, feed them, and that's that. Um, so I'm really glad that whatever we do with our kids, we do it. We know what's going on. We know what influences they have. We are in control of the stimuli around our kids, and we have like a very good overview of what is going on in their life. The second is that we are not missing, or I'm at home. I'm not missing any important milestones. I was there when my kids said their first word, when they first walked, when they first came from school upset, and they could talk to me directly about what was going on. They come back from school, and I'm the first person they see, so I can hear how their day was instead of the daycare people hearing how their day was, and then me asking them at 6 o'clock in the evening, how was your day? And them just replying, fine, okay, or I don't remember. So I really enjoy that, and I have really, really nice memories of coming back home from school and sitting for lunch and telling my mama all about my day, which my brother never did actually. So it depends also on the personality. But I have talkers, and they do really enjoy talking about their day and chatting about their day and saying what happened. My oldest more than my middle one, but still, my middle one also enjoys sharing what is going on in her life, at least until now. Um, then the thing is that we don't have to take the risk to trust strangers. Um, and this is again, this is linked to daycare or babysitters or this kind of stuff that I know it is. I have friends who are working and they had to find babysitters, and it is such a struggle to find a person that you can fully trust. You see 10 people that you don't click with, and finally you find one that you really click with, and they are so important in your child's life and in your life, and they become almost family. And this is wonderful when you find that person, and it's just so great that good caregivers are out there. But it takes so much energy and so much stress, until you found the one. And sometimes you find that one, and that one moves away or has different plans for their life, and they're not available anymore, and this sucks. So we don't have that stress in our lives. I wish we were a bit more open in finding a babysitter, and that we were not so hesitant to do that. But because we are so used in having everything on us, it's hard for us to trust someone, especially because we live in the Netherlands. We are Greek, so our youngest ones, each period until they learn to speak Dutch, we are worried that something will be wrong and they won't be able to tell us. We could have a babysitter now because Our two oldest ones, they're fluent, of course, in Dutch, and our youngest one speaks perfect Greek, so they could tell us if something is wrong with the babysitter, but we are not ready to let go yet. And I think it's on us. I mean, this is our own issue. It's not. I think it's not even that normal. We should be able to let go a bit more in that sense for a couple of hours, just for the sake of our own relationship. Um, but yeah, I think the time will come, and we will know when we are ready about that. Um, then another practical thing is that breastfeeding is just easier. So if you choose to breastfeed, I've talked about it again in the video about breastfeeding. If you're at work and you have to pump without your baby, it sucks. It's so hard. It is draining. But when you're at home and your baby is hungry, you just pop them on the breast and they drink, and that's that. Period. Um, on the other hand, when the time comes and you want to wean your baby, it is harder when they are the whole day with you, but it can, of course, be done, and there are ways. So if you are planning to breastfeed, being a stay-at-home mom just makes it super easy to do so. Um, the other thing is, and it sounds a bit strange or controversial, but the fact that you actually don't have enough hours to properly work uh, make you be much more creative in finding solutions on how to build your own career and create your own career as your kids also get older and you have a bit more energy. I've seen it happen with me again and again. Um, and the thing is that you can think up new solutions, and there are doors that open up new possibilities for you. And the great thing is, in the Netherlands, but also in general in the world that is much more interconnected, that while in the olden days you needed to have a degree to do whatever profession you wanted, right now people really trust more experience and skills when they see them in practice. So you're much more free to explore different domains and see what suits you, and then decide if you want to be busy with that instead of first studying a thing for 3 4 years and then realizing that it's not what you wanted. And you can also easily change career paths, especially in the Netherlands. Unfortunately, that's not the case in Greece, where I come from, but in the Netherlands, it is. Um, and then, yeah, last but not least, oh no, I have two more. The one is that you can actually help out at school, and kids love it. And especially if your kids are going to a Waldorf school, like our kids are, these schools require, well, appreciate parent involvement because they do lots of nice activities from crafting, trips, cooking, handwork, woodwork, all sorts of stuff. Um, so parents help is highly appreciated, and the good thing is that if you're a stay-at-home parent, especially when your babies have grown up a bit, you can help at school, and kids just love it when their parents are there and are helping. And it's really nice to see, and you get to know their classmates, you get to know their teachers, you get to get a really good glimpse of their daily life at school. And I think it is really, really worth it. You get to connect with the school community, connect more with other parents, build your own community much more easily than if you have to just drop them off, run to the office, run back, pick them up from daycare, go back home. Of course, you can do that if you're working part time as well, make these connections with school. So it is definitely not black or white, right? Um, and yeah, last but not least, I had a few people ask me, what are you going to do when the kids are older? And I'm like, will they not still be kids? I mean, in my experience, my personal experience as a child and then a preteen and then a teen, and my experience seeing the kids of friends is that the older kids get, the more they need you emotionally. Um, so my plan at this moment in time, and maybe I do it in 5 years and it's totally different, but in this moment in time is to actually work while the kids are at school in the morning and still be there for them when they come back from school in the midday. So I can be there for them, listen to them, support them, these kind of things. I find them quite important, and I do know that at some point teenagers will have more time alone, and maybe I'm home waiting for them and they go out with friends and they only come back at night. But I feel that them knowing that I'm available is actually what matters. But again, I have to say that I am not a person that is super career oriented. I'm a person who has actually found a lot of fulfillment in children. I do see raising my children as um, the thing of the utmost importance, because I feel I am raising the future citizens of this world and of this planet, and I do want to do a good job. I'm not someone who could do that well doing it part time. So for me, it works. I totally understand and respect if it is for you too much, and if you can't get the fulfillment, I'm sorry, that I'm getting from it. And just to be clear, there are days that I hate it. I find it really, really hard. I'm very tired, and I just need a break. And that is exactly the same with a full time job. And I also do not believe, I do not agree with people. I have friends who keep saying that working in an office is much easier than raising kids. I don't agree. I believe that working in an office with colleagues, with other adults, can be very fulfilling, because you do have contact with adults who have interesting ideas instead of showing you that Playmobil castle they made again and again. I get that. However, I think that it can also be very challenging, because you're responsible for your family's finances, financial stability, and maybe you have a boss who is not treating you right, and then you have to deal with all the toxicity of colleagues at times. You have very restricted free time, holidays, you have commute. Um, so no, I don't believe that actually working full time in an office is easier. I don't believe that working part time and being a mom, a stay at home mom, the other days is easier, because then it is a balancing act. This is something I would find very hard. And you might wonder why I say that, because I am also working, making my books and writing and doing my sessions. But I choose when to do that. So I think that because I have the freedom to schedule my own hours, it helps a lot. But I'm not the primary, how do you say? I'm not the one making the money at our house. That is my husband. So I do have the financial freedom to do that, in the sense that our family is taken care of financially by my husband. So I don't have the financial freedom in the sense that I'm not financially independent from my husband, but I don't have to worry about money at this point in time. So what I do is, out of passion and also out of a need to have my personal project, and out of a need of, knock on wood, would something happen, I would be able to financially provide for my family. I know it sounds, maybe it sounds quite complicated, but it is like life is like that. There is, like I said, there is no black or white. But yeah, I hope, if you're thinking what to do once you decide to bring children into this world, uh, or if you have now a newborn and you're wondering when you should go back to work, should you go back to work? Um, I really, really think you should listen to your gut feeling. I really think you should try and imagine your life being full time with the kid at home, if that would be enough for you, if you could find the fulfillment that you need from it, or if you need something extra. If you need something extra, I would make a lot of research on finding people that you can actually trust with taking care of your child, based again on your budget and your financial situation, because maybe you want a private nanny for your kid but you can't pay for it. So then this would mean spending a lot of time looking into different daycare facilities, or looking if maybe you could exchange daycare with other parents. I have a friend in Ireland who is actually helping setting up this project of taking care of each other's kids, because in Ireland daycare costs are ridiculously expensive. So I would just try and imagine my life. How would I like my life to be? How do I see myself as a parent? And then try and plan accordingly, fully expecting that the moment all your plans are done and finished, the universe will give you a slap in the face, throw everything up in the air, and you'll have to replan again, because that's life. I hope you found that useful in some ways. It got you thinking a bit, and I will be back soon with another video. Have a nice day. Bye.